There is a painful reality in life that many people experience but struggle to understand. It is the moment when someone's heart changes toward you. The relationship may not end overnight. The conversations may continue. The greetings may still be exchanged. The smiles may still appear. But something has shifted deep within their heart. Bias has entered. And once bias enters a person's heart, they no longer see you through truth. They see you through the lens of their feelings. A biased person can no longer judge your actions fairly. They have already reached a conclusion about you, and everything you do becomes evidence to support that conclusion. When someone becomes biased against you, even your strengths begin to irritate them. The same confidence they once admired now becomes pride. The same passion they once celebrated now becomes arrogance. The same kindness they once appreciated now becomes manipulation. The same wisdom they once respected now becomes showing off. Nothing about you has changed, but everything about how they see you has changed. Spiritually, this is a dangerous place because bias blinds people from seeing truth. The Bible tells us that man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart. A biased person stops looking at the heart. They stop seeking understanding. They stop giving grace. They stop giving the benefit of the doubt. Instead, they begin collecting reasons to justify their negative feelings toward you. One sign that someone has become biased against you is withdrawal. They slowly create distance, not because you have wronged them, but because their heart has already made a decision. Their messages become shorter. Their enthusiasm disappears. Their support fades. Their presence becomes inconsistent, and often they cannot even explain why. Another sign is that your successes begin to make them uncomfortable. When God blesses you, they do not celebrate with the same joy they once had. Your victories seem to irritate them. Your growth becomes a threat. Your progress becomes something they secretly struggle with. This is why Joseph's brothers could not rejoice over the dreams God gave him. Their bias grew until they could no longer see Joseph as their brother. They only saw him as a problem. Another sign of bias is that your mistakes become magnified while your good deeds become invisible. You can do 10 good things and one wrong thing. The biased person will remember the one wrong thing. You can serve faithfully for years. One misunderstanding can suddenly define your entire character in their eyes. The good becomes forgotten. The negative becomes permanent. That is the power of bias. Another sign is that your attempts to repair the relationship are misunderstood. You try to explain. They say you are defending yourself. You try to help. They say you are seeking attention. You try to be close. They say you are forcing yourself on them. You become quiet. They say you are acting strange. No matter what you do, the interpretation is already negative. This is one of the most exhausting battles a person can face. Because you are not fighting your actions, you are fighting their perception, and perception is often harder to change than reality. Sometimes bias becomes so strong that even your happiness bothers them. Your laughter irritates them. Your confidence annoys them. Your presence becomes uncomfortable. You enter a room and they immediately become tense, not because you did anything wrong that day, but because their heart has already formed an opinion about you. Spiritually, this teaches us something important. Not everyone who withdraws from you is hearing from God. Not everyone who criticizes you is speaking truth. Not everyone who misunderstands you is seeing clearly. Sometimes people are reacting to wounds. Sometimes they are reacting to jealousy. Sometimes they are reacting to offense. Sometimes they are reacting to assumptions. And sometimes they are simply reacting to bias. This is why Jesus himself was hated by people who could not deny his miracles. The problem was never his works. The problem was their hearts. Bias had already decided who he was before they ever listened to him. So what should we do when someone becomes biased against us? First, guard your heart. Do not become what they accuse you of being. Do not allow bitterness to grow. Do not allow hatred to take root. Do not repay evil with evil. Second, stop exhausting yourself trying to convince everyone. Not every misunderstanding can be corrected. Not every opinion can be changed. Not every heart can be won back. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is remain consistent and let time reveal the truth. Third, remember that God's opinion matters more than man's opinion. People can misunderstand you. People can misjudge you. People can falsely accuse you. But God sees what people cannot see. He sees your motives. He sees your tears. He sees your prayers. He sees the battles you never tell anyone about. He sees the sacrifices nobody appreciates. And He is the final judge. Finally, pray for those who have become biased against you. Pray that God heals whatever is causing their heart to see you through a distorted lens. Pray that truth replaces assumptions. Pray that grace replaces judgment. Pray that love replaces resentment. Because sometimes the greatest victory is not proving yourself right. The greatest victory is keeping your heart pure while others misunderstand you. And if you have done your best, walked in integrity, spoken the truth, and honored God, then rest. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will appreciate you. Not everyone will see your heart. But God does. And when God sees you, that is enough. If you have ever been the target of someone's bias, I want you to know that you are not alone. Many people carry wounds that never came from physical attacks. They came from being misunderstood. There is a unique pain that comes from knowing your heart, but watching others question your motives. There is a unique pain that comes from trying your best and still feeling unseen. Some of you listening to me today know exactly what I'm talking about. You have experienced moments where people formed opinions before truly knowing you. You have watched assumptions replace understanding. You have felt the sting of being judged by a version of you that does not exist. And no matter how sincere you tried to be, it seemed like your intentions were constantly questioned. Some of you have spent sleepless nights trying to understand what happened. You replay conversations in your mind. You examine your actions. You ask yourself if you could have done something differently. You wonder how a relationship that once felt so close became so distant. And the answer you keep searching for never comes. Because sometimes the problem was never your actions. Sometimes the problem was a perception that developed inside another person's heart. And once that perception settled in, everything you did became filtered through it. But hear me carefully. Do not allow someone's bias to become your identity. Just because they misjudged you does not mean they defined you. Just because they misunderstood you does not mean you are misunderstood by God. Just because they failed to see your value does not mean you have no value. People's opinions are temporary. God's truth is eternal. Some of you have been carrying the burden of proving yourself. You want them to understand. You want them to acknowledge your heart. You want them to admit they were wrong. You want them to see the person you really are. But there comes a moment in life when God gently whispers, "Stop chasing validation from people who have already closed their eyes." Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every accusation needs a response. Not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. Sometimes God allows silence to become your defense. Sometimes He allows time to become your witness. Sometimes He allows your character to speak louder than your words. The temptation when people treat you unfairly is to become hard, to stop trusting, to stop loving, to stop helping, to stop caring, to build walls around your heart. But that is exactly what the enemy wants. The enemy wants the wounded to become bitter, the rejected to become cold, the misunderstood to become isolated, the criticized to become angry. Do not give him that victory. Protect your heart, but do not harden it. Guard your spirit, but do not poison it. Learn from the experience, but do not become the experience. Do not allow one person's bias to destroy the goodness God placed inside you. Continue loving, continue serving, continue helping, continue praying, continue becoming the person God created you to be. There are people who will appreciate what others rejected. There are people who will understand what others misunderstood. There are people who will celebrate what others criticized. There are people who will see your heart clearly. And most importantly, God sees it already. Remember Joseph. His brothers were biased against him. They questioned him. They hated him. They sold him. Yet their opinion did not stop God's plan. Remember David. Saul became biased against him. Every success David had seemed to irritate Saul. Yet Saul's bias could not cancel David's destiny. Remember Jesus. The Son of God was judged, criticized, rejected, and falsely accused. Yet the rejection of men never changed the approval of the Father. Your destiny is not determined by those who misunderstand you. Your destiny is determined by the God who called you. So lift your head again, smile again, dream again, serve again, trust again, love again. Do not let the disappointment of yesterday steal the purpose of tomorrow. One day the truth has a way of revealing itself. One day what was hidden becomes visible. One day people see things differently. And even if they never do, God remains faithful. The Lord knows every tear you cried in secret. He knows every time you were blamed unfairly. He knows every moment you defended yourself and nobody listened. He knows every silent struggle that others never noticed. He knows every burden you carried alone. Nothing has escaped his attention. And because God sees, you can rest. You do not have to carry the burden of proving yourself forever. You do not have to spend your life chasing acceptance. You do not have to live under the weight of other people's assumptions. Release them.